were talking over the break. How did you come to acting? How did it all start for you?
You know, it was a little unspoken dream I had growing up. In a Hispanic family, it's hard to actually pursue a career like that, especially in a small country like that where the resources are so limited to get into an industry like this,
right.
and it's almost impossible. But I went to school, I got a finance degree, and decided...
School here in the States?
I went to school at SMU in Dallas. I got a finance degree, and decided to come out to LA and give it a shot. And I went to 9 different modeling agencies because that's where I wanted to start, and every single one of them shut me down.
They all said no.
They all said, you are too commercial, you will never work in this town.
No!
You should pack your bags and
I
go
love these
home.
stories. I love them.
Yeah.
Bring them on.
Because you know what? I don't think anybody's ever walked into an agency when they were new where the agency said, sure, yeah, this is great. They always say no first. And you have to overcome, you know, because there's always going to be those hurdles
It's
for
so hard. And I mean, this town and this industry, I mean, if you don't have thick skin, I mean, I would have just packed my bags and gone home, you know.
Right.
But
so what made you stay? What was the turning point that made you go, no, I'm not, I'm staying?
I took 1 acting class. I had never taken an acting class until I moved out to LA, which was about 1.5 years ago. And I took 1 class and I was like, I love this. And this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I stayed with it, and then I finally met my theatrical agent, my commercial agent, and my manager, and in less than a year I had a job. And
That's a very lucky story.
Very,
that doesn't happen. You know, it just doesn't happen like that.
No, but like, you live a blessed life, because your first commercial, you had a big surprise at your first commercial shoot as well.
You know what, right before I booked that commercial, I was laying up on my pool, and I was debating whether or not I should give up, because it was a very rough time, and I wasn't getting any callbacks. My theatrical agent wasn't sending me out on auditions because I wasn't ready.
Right.
I mean, Passions was my 6th audition that I had ever gone on.
Wow.
And so I was sitting, and then I got a phone call. They were like, hey, it was a Saturday. I was scruffy. I was just nasty looking. And they were like, you need to go to this audition. It's for a Pepsi commercial worldwide. And I went, I booked it, and they were shooting it on Monday. I go on set. They thought I was an extra to begin with. And then they were like, you know what, you're principal. You have a dressing room. So I was like, okay, great. And we did all the wide shots with the camera on me. And then all of a sudden, they're like, talent is coming to set. I look over, and I see a short blonde girl, and they're like, and it was Christina Aguilera. and you know, my first commercial ever. I told my agents, don't ever send me out another commercial because it's not going to get better.
It's never going to get better than that, no? How was she to work with? Is she fun to work with?
She was fun. I mean, she had her entourage with her and everything. So, I mean, but she was nice, very professional.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you recently just had your first big fan event, right? Last weekend, was that?
It was, yeah, we did a CMA fanfare in Nashville last weekend.
Last weekend. How was it?
It was very surreal. Surreal and overwhelming, the amount of fans.
And they're great fans, aren't they?
They're so loyal. You know, I actually had the pleasure of meeting Brian Datillo and Christy Clark from Days of Our Lives, and to see these veterans that have been on the shows for 16 years, and to see a fan come up and start crying, and the smile that you put on their faces after, you know, because they live this, you know, they live
day in, day out, man.
So it's great to see that we actually make an impact on their lives, and to sign an autograph. It's just very surreal.
Does your family get to watch you on Passions?
If you have cable, I mean, at a later time, but it's the same. They're up to date. I mean, the episode that airs here today airs back home.
Were they soap fans before Passions, or?
My grandmother was. And she still is. She was a Young and the Restless fan. She has her little group of girls that we call the Golden Girls, because there's like 5 of them.
Cute.
And they always sit around and watch Young and the Restless together, religiously.
Nice.
And now I have them switching over to Passions.
And now we were going to take off, but I know you have a favorite charity that you wanted to talk about real quick.
Definitely. I'm working with this charity organization that helps kids from the ages of 0 to around 20 years old that are diagnosed with cancer. Some are terminal and some are not. But this charity organization helps the families throughout the whole process.
Oh, that's nice.
And I actually wanted to tell you that I'm doing a big event October 7th, and I know you're a huge beach volleyball fan and player, and we're doing a big event to support this organization and to raise money, and details will follow, and I'll keep in touch with you and let you know.
Great.
I'd love to be a part of it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for the invite, man.
Well,
Adrian, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.